What happens if a situation arises that you were unprepared for? A situation such as a blizzard, a tornado, or being locked down due to a virus. Put yourself in any possible situation that could arise. Now ask yourself, what would you do? Where would you go? What do you need? Are you ready? Because what if tomorrow? Welcome to the What If Tomorrow podcast. I'm Philip.
And I'm Mark.
And tonight, man, we've got a show. We're kind of talking. Mark and I are kind of moody. It's a Monday. We may go on rants. We may go on, I don't know, we may get a little contentious tonight with some of the news articles and stuff that we were talking about backstage. Hey, Enzo, what's up, man?
Good to see you, buddy.
What's going up, man? So be prepared. As is, preparedness. We've got a different show tonight. Some stuff that we haven't really, we may have touched a little bit on the surface, but we're going to have a conversation and go a little bit deeper in depth with mental and spiritual preparedness. And it's not what you think. This isn't going to be preachy, all that good stuff. It's just, I think this is an aspect that people overlook when it comes to preparedness. First things first, though, we're going to play our little ad Mark put together, which is amazing because it keeps me from having to rack my brain and figure out who our affiliates are. So here we go.
Hey, this is Mark with What If Tomorrow and What If Tomorrow on the Fringe. Be sure to check out our website, whatiftomorrowmedia.com, and look at our cool merch. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, posters, and more. Our affiliates are Duke Cannon, EMP Shield, My Patriot Supply, and Conflicted the Game. Or check out buymeacoffee.com/whatiftomorrow and buy us a coffee. And as always, be sure to like, comment, and share on both Facebook and YouTube. It helps get our content out to others and help our channel grow. Now on with the show.
Man, that's a good commercial. Yeah, do that for a living.
Well, I almost had a job doing that for a living. I might not have told you that story, but I actually had
Jess,
the host of the morning show in Ponca City, Oklahoma, work for me at one time, and he tried to get me to come on. And I said, so I obviously doesn't pay much because you're working for me for minimum wage in the evening. He goes, no, it really doesn't pay much. But I do have a face made for radio.
I'll agree. Hey, Chris. Well, tonight, again, we're going to kind of touch on the news and stuff to kind of give us a little bit of an idea. I mean, anybody that pays a little bit of attention is watching this crazy thing we call life, man. It's going crazy right now. I mean, at least I do. I kind of watch and shake my head and think about things. And I try to understand the thought process and all this other crap that's happening. I mean, we were kind of talking about it again backstage where we're talking about the issue with Bud Light, with this whole beer can issue and people are dropping them. If you guys have listened for a while, you know that we've talked about the ESG a long time ago. The whole environmental social governance. We've touched on it time to time. Well, now Bud Light not only is losing their butts from everybody that's boycotting them, from we'll say the right or conservative thinking people, they're also starting to lose their butts from the left, and also they were downgraded with their social governance score.
ESG score.
They were downgraded. ESG, yeah. They were downgraded from their 100% perfect score.
I'm so sad.
So, yeah, they are, Enzo. They definitely are. They're losing their butt bad. I can't remember. This is their third month in a row or some crap, and they're losing their butts.
They're having to buy back expired product from their
distributors.
Yeah, I think it's
That's never
great.
happened before.
I think it's great. I mean, I feel bad for the people that are employed by them
They're distributors.
and their
Ours
distributors.
even.
Yeah, but there's other options. People are coming to find they like, and Yingling. I've never tried Yingling. I've heard it's pretty good beer.
It's actually
Uh,
not terrible if you like, the fake beer that we sell in America.
I don't drink a lot of beer though, so
Me neither.
I'm drinking my whiskey right now. Um, exactly. Enzo said, "How do they lose their ESG scores? What got them in this mess in the first place?" Yes, 100% exactly. Apparently, each year, whoever controls this EAG, yes, sir. Me too. I'll stick with my whiskey. This whole ESG thing, whoever runs this, I don't know if it's BlackRock or whatever, which I've got a little bit more on that. Whoever comes out with the requirements for them to achieve their 100 rated, that the company has to push the trans movement, which I completely disagree with. If you want to do that, that's on you. I don't care. Leave the kids alone. That's my biggest issue.
Yep. Absolutely.
What you do with you, go for it. I don't care. But apparently, that was one of the biggest issues. Well, they got such a pushback from the people. They're the people that are buying their products. Apparently, they got downgraded because the other side's going against them now. Both sides.
Yeah,
So they're losing their hat.
They tried to recover their base, and by recovering the base, they pissed off
the other side.
Yeah, they pissed off the other side.
I think it's great. Disney's going down the same road. Disney, I think I heard that Disney Plus lost like almost 3 million subscriptions.
Yeah, we got rid of it.
We did too, because of the crap they're pulling. I don't want anything to do with it. And I think this is great. Target is coming out with some really disturbing stuff, in my opinion. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Yes, and so you're right.
Yeah, one side says too far, the other side says not far enough. Exactly. And that's where we're at. We're 50% divided. Oh, Jess, I agree 100%. Jess said, I think a basic apology would have gone a long way. Yes.
Yeah. Said, look, we went too far. We're sorry. Let us make it up to you 50% off our product.
Right. Something like that. But it still would have pissed off the other side. I don't care. Whatever. But people this is where I will say normal people. I don't care if I piss anybody off right now. Like I said, I'm a little contentious tonight. I don't care. I don't care if I piss you off. Get over it. Like the rest of us, everybody has had to do since the dawn of time. Somebody pisses you off, get over it.
Pull up your big boy pants.
Exactly. If it hurts your feelings, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, I mean, this show might get marked from YouTube. So, but I don't care what you do. Leave the kids out of it. I have thoughts that I'm not going to go into because it will get us banned. But leave the kids alone. That's all I ask.
Absolutely.
That's where it started. Nobody gave a crap until you started messing with the kids.
I saw a meme.
Yes, Chris, absolutely. Even better would be for everyone to stay out of politics and sell your products. Yes.
Exactly.
Let the market decide. That's a free market system. Absolutely.
And it is. It's working.
Yeah.
But I actually saw a meme that I think sums it up best. The left's going, oh, the kids should be able to decide as young as 8 what sex they want to be. All right. So are we going to lower the ages of alcohol, drugs, and firearms?
Exactly.
They should be old. If they're old enough to decide that they want to be a boy or a girl, they should be able to go buy a
Yes.
gun.
Yes, absolutely.
They should be able to go buy a beer.
Right. I'd send my kid to town. I mean, hell, jump
My
in the truck.
gosh,
Go.
give me some cigarettes, boy. I don't know.
Right. I don't know. It's ridiculous. And but the thing with Target, I saw something today on it, man. They have children, I mean, like toddler wear, swimsuits, and all that crap geared towards this whole trans BS.
The tuck friendly stuff.
Yes, it's ridiculous. It's sickening, but it's ridiculous. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna stop myself there. Yeah, you won't even let exactly. Just like Enzo, I mean, you're the one that made the comment. You won't even allow an 8-year-old to pick what they have for dinner. My 8-year-old, my son, told me the other night that he is independent and that I cannot make life choices for him. So I said, okay. So I said, okay. I said, you go get you a job, you go get you a car, and you start paying rent.
Oh yeah, let's give 8-year-olds driver's licenses. I love
Right. So I said, you think you're independent? we'll call it income based, Enzo. He said, cool, how much you charging for rent? We'll call it income based. I mean, he thought dad tax was bad on Halloween. I mean,
I like it. I remember the dad tax. I missed
yeah,
that.
I do too. Yeah, I mean,
Give me
luckily, I
some of
mean, I
the
started
Oreos,
over.
kid.
But I mean, he's just 8 years old. I mean, he thinks he's a big boy. He thinks he's an adult. Yes, Jess, absolutely. So what's worse is they think parents should have no say in what their children choose. Outrageous. It is.
It is absolutely.
But that's the issue. That's the issue is we have no sense of family anymore. And I really think this is the core of it. They've split the family up. It is intentional. I absolutely believe it is. And I want to say it probably started in the 60s.
I would say you're probably not far off.
The whole, love and all that crap. We've had several politicians say, these are not just your children. These are everybody's child. No, they're not. I'm sorry. I'm a little contentious tonight, guys. But
we still love you, man.
I'm fed up, man. I really am. I'm fed up with this BS. I'm trying to do the best that I can for my family, my circle of friends. And it's a constant bombardment. And I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, but it's a constant bombardment. They're challenging everything. It's like I watched something the other night from some people on YouTube. And YouTube is a good spot for content if you find it. But this guy, he was a homesteader. And speaking of, our first video should be up probably tomorrow night for my wife and I's channel, The Night Acres. It's more of a homestead or self-sufficiency show. It's showing you what we've done. Speaking of, I got to show you. I got to show everybody this if I can find it. I showed Mark at work today, but we got bacon seeds. We got some this weekend. And so I got to share it. I'm already talking about it. I got to share it. Yes, Enzo said the flower children of the 70s are now in the government and big business and making rules. Yes, absolutely they are.
I would say there's not a little bit of brain damage from all the drugs back in the 60s.
Yeah. Oh, where's it at? Ah, there it is.
Don't lose your bacon seeds. There's
There's my bacon seeds if everybody can see it. Yep, I thought I was going to get eaten alive by the mama. And hey, Pam. Yes, bacon seeds, Enzo. But yeah, I mean, we're trying to become more self sufficient and more non reliant on going to the store and all that. Which in turn, oh yeah, definitely one of them is he's going to the butcher when he gets big enough. The other one we're going to breed. We have a boar coming, and I don't know if anybody saw the new Super Mario. And we're on the way home. We were talking about what we're going to name the female because she's going to stay around. She's going to be our breeder. Absolutely, Jess, and it will be. And I may, well, dang it won't be ready by the time the Paracon comes along, so I can't smoke the shoulder on it. It'll be a couple months out from being ready.
That's just an excuse for another cookout.
Right, I know it exactly.
Right.
See, it's all planned. But we're starting. We're getting some things in order, and I got to look and see if my wife's watching because I don't want her to hear. But I think the next thing after this is going to be goats because she's been wanting goats. But it's all about self-sufficiency. So I'll post it up on the Facebook group when we get it up. So come over and support us if you would there. Yeah, I know, Enzo. He said I was just about to ask that very question. No, unfortunately, it won't be ready. It'll be a couple months away. You can come check it out. You can come prepackaged. Yeah. In the raw material.
You should buy an adult goat because goats are delicious barbecued.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, with this whole crap that's going on, I'm done with it. I'm fed up. I'm seeing major pushes from different organizations saying, no, this is enough. Even different countries are saying, no, this isn't what we signed on for. I've seen where Norway is going to come and step up and start drilling oil in the Arctic.
Yeah.
And they're saying, nope, we're done. We cannot get by without this. So, y'all, I mean, it's too early to celebrate, in my opinion. Yeah.
Norway is left. Norway is done with it. Then you've done failed.
Yeah. Yeah. Something I did see, but yeah, Norway stepped up and said that they are going to step up and say, no, okay, we'll provide oil for the West, which is amazing. I think this is a great thing, and I'd love to get Frank back on to get his thoughts on it. If this is part of the whole tale of two timelines thing, or what. I need to reach out to him. I haven't talked to him in a while, anyway.
He's been so busy.
He has. He's
loved watching his feed lately. It's just been
But he has. I mean, he's been over here to Sedona doing some events over there. And then he's, I think, on a tour of Germany now. I mean, he lives in Germany. If you're not familiar with him, I think so.
Maybe it's
but
today.
I think so. But man, he's preaching the truth, man. I mean, he's talking about things and something that people are grabbing onto. And there for the longest time, he was silenced in Germany.
Oh yeah.
So I need to reach out to him and see what's going on with it. I haven't talked to him. Like I said, I haven't talked to him in a while. And see if he'll jump on with us. Maybe it may be a pre-recorded show or something like that because it usually works out best for Sundays.
I don't have a problem with that.
No, I don't either. Enzo said they kind of have to start drilling again. They aren't getting that Russian oil and gas. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, and we've all but shut down. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Maybe a good thing for Europe to have Germany stop or Russia stop pumping that stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be Norwegian jobs and Norwegian cash flow, and
right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Then we get into, oh man, we talked about it earlier. I just lost my train of thought. just with all the bull crap in the news, it's hard to keep things straight and everything that's going on. It seems like it's just getting faster and faster and faster.
But there have been
And
some good things.
absolutely, there have. Absolutely. And that's amazing. The whole ESG thing is collapsing. And again, we talked about on it. Yes, Pam. So Great Britain about froze last winter. They're definitely ready for another round on oil. Yes.
Yep. Did
But
you
it's
see?
all. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, but it's all by design. If you look at and the problem is this administration is doubling down. They're closing power plants, coal-fired power plants are closing in the name of ESG.
And
They
you know
won't
what?
come out and tell you that.
That's a perfect segue to what I was going to say earlier.
Yeah, go for it.
Did you see where they're forging the casings for the first of the new modular nuclear power plants?
I think you
They're
talked
going to
about
go
it
up
last.
someplace up north. I want to say Minnesota or someplace. I don't. That doesn't sound right. It was maybe one of the Dakotas, but yeah, they're forging the casings for a new breed of nuclear power plant.
And that's awesome. That's the cleanest, probably safest energy.
Liquid salt reactors. They're super safe and clean. That makes your EV actually practical.
Yes, it absolutely does.
If everything's nuclear, that makes your EV all of a sudden becomes a good investment.
Yeah, I'm not a tree hugger or whatever you want to characterize it as. I'm not. I mean, I don't necessarily believe 100% in the whole climate change, all this BS. There's people that are dyed in the wool and they will die on that hill. Okay. But there's got to be a transition period. You can't just go and shut down these coal-fired power plants.
You can't wave a magic wand.
No, with what they're pushing for the EVs, which when it comes to the Great Reset thing, they don't want people to have cars anyway. They want people to have shared vehicles, to where if you're not using it, it's out doing something else. But there's got to be a transition period until something comes along. I'm all right with electric vehicles. I don't have an issue with that. But you have to have the infrastructure. You cannot have what we have now and cutting power plants and just say, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
What
we need is microgrids.
Yes.
So that it's all regional. This plant supplies this region. So if we have an EMP or a solar flare that knocks out part of the grid, the whole country doesn't just collapse because they're all connected. You just lose the microgrid, and then it's easy to restart because everybody else is still working.
Right. And that's what never ceases to amaze me when we talk EMPs, CMEs, all that. They want the infrastructure, but there's nothing. They don't have any protection for the EMPs. I mean, one of our affiliates, they're blowing up. I don't know if you've seen the ads for them, the EMP Shield guys.
They're everywhere.
They're blowing up. They got Ted Nugent speaking for them, a spokesperson. I can't remember who else was I saw, but they're blowing up, and we've been there since damn near the beginning.
Yeah, we've got to go check them out.
Yeah, we do. I need to contact them and see if we can go up and do maybe a live stream or something up there. But they're also building a new plant to produce microchips.
That's going to be Kansas jobs.
Yeah. I think I've seen 200 or 300 up there, then like over 1,000 in Wichita.
Yeah.
Yeah, Enzo said if solar panels were more efficient, you could slap those on your roof and power that electric car all the time. Yeah. Pam, she said we've got to make some kind of move because our energy grid is barely getting by now. You're absolutely right.
It hasn't been upgraded since the 60s or 50s.
Yes, Enzo, absolutely. We are one Carrington event away from the fall of civilization. Yes. And I want to say the Carrington event, we covered like one of our first or second episodes. And man, that's been a long time ago. It's been almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Um,
We've mentioned it on many episodes, though.
yes. But if you're not aware of it, go look it up. I mean, it's a really crazy story thinking about I can't remember what year exactly, but it was the late 1800s.
Late 1800s. Telegraphs were working without batteries attached to them. There was so much electricity in the air.
Yeah. Telegraph wires were catching fire. One story that I heard, and I think we told it in the show, was a miner. Yeah, 1859. Thank you, Enzo. A miner woke up and started getting ready to go to work because it was daylight outside. And it wasn't. It wasn't time to get up and go to work yet.
It was just Aurora Borealis.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to think about. And
that can happen anytime.
How often here lately in the news have you seen sunspots and solar flares and stuff?
Minor grid disruptions because of it.
Right. So anyway, I think that's enough of the news and all that. We really didn't go as deep as we could have, but something that we've talked about. Yeah, that's what that was a cool story. I mean, go look it up, the Carrington event. Enzo put the auroras were very intense at the time. You could read a newspaper in Denver. Now think about that. In the middle of the night, you can read a newspaper. I mean, I've seen the full moon so bright you could, but nothing in comparison. But something, Mark and I are constantly talking about a physical preparedness. Your 3 days of food, your water, your everything. Bug out bags, all physical preparedness. Things you can do. You talk to people about preparedness. Oh yeah, I've got some food on hand. I mean, I might be able to make it a few days. I may be able to, not go to the grocery store one night or whatever, because some people do. They go to the grocery store every night of the week to find something for dinner.
Yeah, I know people like that.
Well, what happens when everything goes down? Even though you are the most prepared person, let's say you have a year's worth of food, water, all that. What happens when people start coming? What happens when life gets hard? Because we've said it many times, we are so spoiled with technology.
We absolutely are.
With conveniences. We're so spoiled with that. But what happens when that goes away? And you have to get out and survive. Folks, if you are mentally prepared for that, you're not going to make it. Did I lose Mark? Looks like he's frozen. Yeah, you're not going to make it. Oh, okay. You were staring at me like.
Yeah, my house internet went down. I had to transfer over to the phone.
Oh, dang. Oh, see, we're getting on something important. Hey, by the way, to everybody at Amuck, thanks for having us on. That was so much fun last week.
Here. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, with Pam. Pam, thanks for inviting us. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. It was a great conversation. So if you guys haven't checked them out, go check them out. AM okay. Yeah, it was great. It was a good show. A lot of fun.
Well, anything with my sister affiliated with it is going to be awesome. She doesn't have she's not really my sister. I've just adopted her and she has no choice in the matter.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a real sister.
Yeah. I mean, everybody that watches this show, or watches On the Fringe, they're familiar with Pam and Jess. They've been a great addition to the show. We love having them on. And Amok is another thing that Jess has went off with, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So well worth the time to go check them out. So I would
And
highly
I'm all for doing it
recommend
again.
it. Yeah, me too.
I'm into it.
Great time. But anyway, back to mental preparedness. Something that the military does, they put you under huge amounts of stress in training. So you can react basically without thinking in stressful situations. You make your decisions without debating on it. You act on those decisions once they're made. Or if you're a low enough guy on the totem pole, you're taught to react without question. There's a reason behind that. It's for survivability. Everybody knows, especially the higher up you get, that you're going to lose people. In military, I'm talking military speak right now. You're going to lose people. But you have to be, especially as a leader, you have to be mentally prepared to lose people. You have to be, because if you're not, you won't make those decisions to accomplish that mission. And the reason I bring this up is because in a survival or a preparedness situation, what's going on with the debt ceiling right now? What happens if they don't, come to an agreement, the government? What happens?
Yeah.
Does the economy collapse? I mean, sure, there's enough revenue coming in to where they could pay the interest.
Man.
But what happens? That's a question on everybody's mind right now. Is what's going to happen if we don't hit this debt ceiling? You hear all the crap from the pundits and the talking heads and all this saying, oh, well, Social Security and Medicare and all this is going to be cut. And that's just scare tactics.
And that's how they work.
Exactly. But let's look realistically. So they'll shut the national parks down to save money. With all the BS that's going on with the FBI, how about shut them down?
Yeah, no shit. They've got a huge budget. We could pay a lot of things with that.
Right. Or the Department of Education.
Yeah.
I don't agree with them either. That's bullcrap.
No. Our education has actually gotten worse since they got in. Yeah. And that's a measurable metric. We can look at that.
Right.
My hero, Samuel Clemens, once said it best. Your money and everything else is safer when Congress is not in session.
Yep, it is true. Yeah, Enzo said they usually start by not paying the military. I remember that happening a few times. Yep. 90.
Not pay Congress.
Yeah, right. It doesn't matter because they don't get the majority of their money from the government.
They're stealing it.
Insider trade and all that crap. But yeah, Enzo, I think it was 96 under Clinton, if I remember right. I think I was in boot when all that happened. So I didn't really see much of it because I didn't get to spend any money in boot. But yeah, it's happened several times with them cutting military's pay, which I think is bullcrap. There's so much other stuff that they could cut. I don't see as to where Social Security is really an option because they have overdrafted Social Security. They owe that to the people that are paying in, us.
Yeah.
People have paid in for a lifetime because they didn't have a choice because they were forced to.
Us.
Exactly.
And now we probably won't get it. But we're still paying
I don't expect to see it. I sincerely don't.
Me neither.
But the reason I say this is about mental preparedness. You have to understand the situation that you're in, and you have to decide how you're going to get through it. You have to decide beforehand.
Yeah.
You can't wait until that situation happens. Oh, I got to get through this. You have to make up your mind now.
Yeah. Well, and I'll go back to when I took my concealed carry class. First thing my instructor said before we started anything, he said, right now, before we go any farther, you need to make the decision. Are you going to defend yourself or are you going to die? And you
Right.
need to make that choice or you need to walk out the door right now. And that's basically what we're talking about. We have to make the choice right now. Are we going to survive? Are we going to soldier on? Are we just going to bow to the man? Or what? What are we going to do? Are we going to help our neighbor or are we going to squirrel our stuff away and not share it?
Right.
I wonder if there's a conflict of the game for an economic collapse.
There is.
There is. We should.
Yeah, I need to get it. But really, if you look at the whole conflict of the game that we've done on the show a few times,
It makes you think.
that's all mental preparedness. Putting yourself in that situation. If you think about it, you can practice driving down the road or at night or sitting there having a drink, put yourself in that situation. Whatever you're preparing for, that takes me back to like Doomsday Preppers. I don't know if anybody ever really watched that show years ago, but
They were ahead of their time.
I think they were considered crazy at the time.
Yeah.
And I contend some of them, I contend some of them probably were. I'm not denying that. Yes, Pam, absolutely. They do surprise you. They ask tough questions. I mean, we'll have to put a poll out or something and see if they want us to play. I'll get a new deck or something and bring it up. But yeah, it's put yourself in any given situation that you can conceive of. That's one big thing when you're in martial arts is shadow boxing, but it's not just shadow boxing, not just going through the movements. It is putting yourself in that situation, whatever situation you envision, this guy's coming at me with this, or this person's, moving this way. How would you react? And you're making those movements to train yourself for it. It's no different in the preparedness world.
99% of it's right here.
Exactly.
Right.
Because if you're not mentally prepared, you're not going to make it. I mean, frankly. I mean, realistically, most people already know. Or they like to think they know. For example, I heard one guy, this was back several years ago. I think it was during Obama, and it was the whole gun debate and stuff like that. Not a lot unlike we're going through now. This guy's, well, from my cold dead hands, the whole general comment. And he said that, and I looked at him. I said, "Are you serious? Are you serious about that?" And he sat there and thought for a second, "No, probably not." Then why say it?
Right.
You've already given up.
None of our listeners have any guns. They all lost them in a boating accident.
I think we're all in the same boat. It's a big boat.
It was a big boat. Turned over. It was terrible. 500 feet of water. Unrecoverable. High current.
Yeah.
Washed out to sea.
Salt water, so they're all rusted.
Yeah, they're all rusted. It's bad. They're probably on the Titanic by now.
Yeah, they're all down there somewhere. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is he'd already made up in his mind that he's not willing to do what he thought he may need to do. Absolutely. Pro-gun people are willing to defend themselves and others. Anti-gun people want someone else to save them. I agree with that Right. I agree with that. Absolutely. But how many that are pro gun are on the surface pro gun, but deep down, have they mentally prepared themselves for the eventual situation?
I would say it's about 50-50, if that.
I would too. That's where everything begins. You have to make up your mind.
But it only takes 3%.
Right. Right. Um, I'm kind of reading and talking and all this, and this guy gives a step by step, how to do it real quick. It's off of primalsurvivor.net. Really good article. Step 2, we've already talked about step 1. Is basically make up your mind and run that through. Emergency conditioning. Figure it out. Put yourself in a situation and make up your mind to react. 2 is set goals. It may not take you it may take you a while to warm up to, hey, this is what I've got to do. But also make up your mind to learn bushcraft skills or how to start a fire, which I think everybody should know without
Everybody
a
should
lighter
know.
or matches, and have the tools on hand to do it. You've heard us talk
Don't
about this.
don't throw away your lighters because they're still the easiest way.
Absolutely they are. Absolutely. I'm not saying that at all. But learn how to do it. Set your goals. Find something that you want to learn that can help you. Not only will you learn that skill, but it'll also give you more confidence to mentally make it through.
And books, people, books are your friend. Hard copy books. Books can save your butt.
Yeah. Enzo, he said, that's why I never tell anyone what I have. If you do, your crappy friends say, I'm going to your house if shit hits the fan. No, you're not. I have been down that road, my friend. And just in all honesty, and being honest with myself, because for the longest time, I said that to myself. I've got enough here for my family, and I've got to worry about my family. Absolutely 100% true. But for me, I'm talking for me, I don't think that I have the ability to tell my friends no in that situation. Whether it may be something small. I'm sorry, maybe you can crash here for the night. Here's a backpack to get you where maybe a little bit farther down the road. But it's not me to not want to help. And that's a decision I've made. Because I know me. If you are more than capable of doing that, good on you. I'll never judge anybody for that because I understand.
That's why you need to war game it in your head.
Exactly.
And you've got to know who you are first.
Right. And and for the longest time, nope, sorry. Even some of my closest friends, we've talked about it. Well, I'm coming to your house. Well, that may be a discussion we could have. What do you bring to the table? Yes, absolutely, Pam, right there. That's why everybody should have some type of skill that would be beneficial in a group setting. Absolutely. And I think that's for me, it's what it comes down to. We've been pushing hard for community. And slowly but surely, personally, I'm kind of working on it. I'm branching out, meeting some people like the people we got our pigs from. The guy is very like-minded. Yes, that's a great idea. Awesome idea, Enzo. Says he has an older tablet that is loaded with survival ebooks. I keep it in a Faraday bag with a foldable solar panel to charge it. That's awesome, man. Yes.
Yeah. I like it. Or an old phone, put it on a mini SD card, and you
Yeah.
can just transfer it from one phone to another.
Right. Even better, I think, would be a physical book, but I see the advantages of having an older tablet
Well, the solar panel,
because it's
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 a good idea.
lightweight. It's a great idea.
You
I
can
like
carry a
it.
whole library wherever.
Yeah. My wife, she said, in that type of situation, we know we can't do it alone. Exactly. You can't. I don't care how many lone wolves are out there. They can't do it by themselves. There's too much. And from experience, I'm seeing with just kind of turn our home into a homestead. It's a lot. 100%. It's a lot. Yeah. My
I,
wife said we struggle now. Well, we now to do what we do. Yeah. But I know once we're established, it's going to be easier. Absolutely. Enzo said that's that's the thing most people don't think of. You cannot do it alone. You have to sleep sometime. Yes. You know, I
that's
have. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
so that's one of the things that uh, bothers me about living here in town.
Right.
But it's also a good thing because I've got people I know here in town who would support me, who I can support. But then again, I've got everybody else too. So
Right. You know,
I have mixed emotions.
I have select friends that I want to come out here if something happens. You know, that would help because especially right now is easy, even though we're kind of rolling out what I believe into hard times. It's still pretty easy. We have the conveniences.
Yeah, they're more expensive, but we still have them.
We have them.
Yeah.
And they're accessible for the most part. But what happens when all that dries up? Enzo, yes, sir. I 100%. I love where I live at. He said, that's why I want to move away from town. Yes, sir. Well,
Enzo, we can go in together and get a little place outside town here. Out in the sandhills, maybe.
You can cuddle up with Bigfoot, something out there.
Hey, don't knock Bigfoot. He's big and he's warm and he's hairy. Get
He
some
might be
shampoo.
cuddly.
And just get some shampoo. He might be cuddly. Or you assumed his gender.
Well, okay. What is the female Bigfoot called? Pam,
Whatever
guess?
she
Anybody?
wants.
Yeah.
I know that.
Right, Enzo. It's where the lizard people are. Got my own Bigfoot. My wife just said my wife. My wife said Bigfoot just wants be the little spoon.
I don't know. It might get lonely on one of those winter nights. Maybe that'll be all right.
Well, I don't think the $20 means it's $20 is $20 matters to Bigfoot.
All right, we're off the rails, dude.
Yep. Well, we gotta have fun with it, man. It's but step 3 for mental preparedness is think positive. I mean, you have to. You have to. I got to get through this. I mean, my wife, I love her to death, but she saw me being frustrated through all this stuff that we're doing. I get frustrated really easy because I don't feel like I got enough done, and a lot of that is my own standards that I'm trying to hold myself to. Maybe they're a little outrageous. But I've been frustrated. I'm like, I just like yesterday. I mean, I mowed. I tried to get our watering system set up for our pigs. I built a shelter. And I'm like, I don't feel like I got anything done because I took a step back. And that's my own journey that I have to deal with. It's not anything I blame anybody for, but I have a habit of biting off more than I can chew. And then I get mad when I can't get stuff done that I plan to get done. And I mean, that's just me.
Well, I mean, I can
Yeah.
understand that.
I mean, I get there's so many hours in the day. I get there's things don't go perfect. I understand that. And I get frustrated when they don't go according to plan. And it seems, and it's something I'm learning with this whole journey that we're on. It seems to be the norm. It doesn't go as planned. And it makes sense. Murphy's Law of Combat, Enzo, you've probably seen it. All plans don't, the best, what is it, the best well-laid plan never survives encounter with the enemy or something like that. It's true. Absolutely true.
That's why vague is better.
Yeah. But I get frustrated. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. Yeah. My wife, she just said, we got the stock tank put in place. They got a trailer put back up. I got garden row made and ready to plant. Yeah. I mean, that's on top of everything else I was trying to get done. Along with a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah. But I still got frustrated because I didn't feel like yes, there we go. Plan is perfect until first contact with the enemy. Something like, yeah. But it is the truth. Whether it be a physical enemy or a mental enemy.
Or reality.
That's something that I have to learn to deal with is my mental, okay, I want to get this, and this done. But are my plans, can I physically do that?
Yeah, you're not as young as you used to be, buddy.
Well, you call me old? That's kind of hurtful, Mark.
You're not as old as me. But, I mean, yeah, basically.
I mean, I'm getting a little silver over here.
Well, that's why I shave mine all off, because I'm more I'm more salt than pepper these days.
Yeah, I'm still good up here, but down here.
Oh, well,
so.
I lost all that before I was your age, so.
I mean, if you look, I'm getting a little bit here, but
I think it's distinguished.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it. Distinguished. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Anyway, the last step on this, on the mental preparedness, on what this guy has said on the Primal Survivor. And like I said, it's a good article. Just do a search for mental preparedness, and this will pop up, primalsurvivor.net. He says arousal control training is something which is commonly used by professional athletes, but it's also part of mental preparedness training that the Navy SEALs to get. So to understand how arousal control works, you must first know that stress helps us survive. When the body perceives a stress, it goes into fight or flight mode. Our attention gets highly focused, our breathing increases, and our heart rate also increases. That reminds me when I was trying to get that pig here Saturday. I thought I was going to get eaten alive. This fight or flight reaction is what allows mothers to lift entire vehicles off their trapped child and wounded soldiers in combat to keep fighting. However, there is a limit to how beneficial stress is. As shown in the Yerkes-Dodson model of arousal and performance, too much stress causes performance to suffer. To make sure your stress levels don't go too far, you must use arousal control tactics like having a plan, focus on things you can control, and use breath control, such as breathing in sets of 4. That's pretty good advice. Because if you don't think, yeah, my wife just said, I'm surprised she didn't knock you on your ass. Yeah, me too. I thought she was for a minute. I thought I was about to get nailed because she, because when her baby started screaming, she come running. And I was a little nervous. She stood back a little bit and I was able to push her away with my foot. And, when they said, well, hey, we normally show her the baby and she calms down. She's never really done this with us, but I'm like thinking, well, they're used to you. I'm a strange person.
Right.
So I held the baby down and she kind of calmed down. So my wife, she also said we both work full time, then work all weekend on the homestead to the point of being physically sore and exhausted. We will get it done though. Yeah, it's been pretty tough,
And I
but
got
that's
to say,
kind
I'm
of
impressed with you guys.
I appreciate it. It's been tough here lately, but we're getting there. And once we get everything where we want it, will the projects ever stop running out? No. But we'll have our base, if that makes any sense. The rest of it
Yeah.
will be kind of improvement. But let's jump in to something else that we don't really talk about very much. And this isn't about religiosity or anything like that. This isn't about religion. You've heard me say it many times on this show that we are, as people, are spiritual beings. And it ties. The reason I wanted to do them together because they are hand in hand.
Mind and spirit are very closely related.
Yep.
Can't have one without the other.
No, you can't. Spiritual preparedness is a little bit different. You have to evaluate, and this kind of goes back to what I was talking about a little bit earlier, with me having, friends or something like that show up. Hey, I'm coming to your house. You have to evaluate your core beliefs and your core values to understand how you can react in any given situation. And that's why I say it ties in, because mentally you have to know what you're talking about, but you also have to understand where you believe something or why you believe something.
Yeah.
I think is extremely important. There's so many beliefs with go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
Some of the best people, quote unquote, out there have just gone totally off the deep end when put into a stressful situation. Mentally, they knew what to do, but emotionally, they did the opposite because they didn't evaluate their own core beliefs, like you said, and they didn't have a handle on it.
Right. And to me, you ever hear the old saying, there's never an atheist in a foxhole?
I've heard it, yes.
And it's the absolute 100% truth. And that's another profound statement a lot of people probably don't think about. Enzo put, even the best people change when they have it eaten for a few days. What are you willing to do? And again, the whole conflicted series that we've played fits perfectly in both of these topics.
Yeah, now I want to go buy all the decks and go through them at home.
Yeah, because a lot of these questions are posed. Hey, medicine, your child needs medicine. Your 11-year-old child is a diabetic, and you find out somebody has medicine that could save their life. What are you willing to do for that? You've got to ask yourself those, in your core beliefs, what do you do?
What's right?
What's right? Because I in a preparedness situation, I think that's going to come up a lot.
Mm-hmm. What's right and what's possible?
Right. Are you willing to bend your beliefs so you don't overstep them to do something that you're going to have a hard time with?
Yeah.
What are you willing to do?
Because there is going to be questions that are life and death that can come up, and you're going to have to make those decisions.
Right.
And you're not going to have time.
Right. It's hard mentally, and I think it's even harder spiritually to put yourself in those situations. beforehand, because admittedly, aside from reading and these, conflicted the game, cards and all that, it's hard to put yourself in a situation on how bad it can get. And even just talking like that is speculative.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we've done on the show has really been speculative. I've never lived through an EMP. I've never lived through Yellowstone or a total economic collapse.
It's best guess.
Right. It's to try to imagine and put yourself in that situation and challenge your beliefs.
Even the government does it.
Yeah. They war game the scenarios.
Yeah. And they're not afraid to go full blown evil.
Oh, absolutely not. Because they have no conscience, no spiritual belief.
Yeah, because they are not a person.
Right. And to me, that's where the most important thing is listening to your gut. Understand, you have to understand your beliefs. And so said, I need to read through all those cards just so people don't think I'm a psycho if I tell my real answers. But that's what the game's about.
Yeah. I've said some really psycho shit.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. We got survival scenarios, the downfall deck, new world series, survivalist series. I mean, I've got 5 decks here, but yeah, absolutely, Pam. Should I surprise the guys with some of my answers, friends? Yeah.
I was both impressed and a little frightened, but in a good way.
Let me see if I can find a tough one here. Yeah, let's see. Here we go. It says your family's been without food for quite some time now, and things are beginning to look bleak. You stumble upon a group of people who are friendly enough to barter goods with you. They have a small supply of I can't even talk. They have a small supply of food that they are willing to trade, but will only accept your only firearm as payment. Since this is all you have of value, how would you react in this situation, and what would you do? I mean, it's tough questions.
They are. Those are the questions you got to ask, though.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely they are. So, I mean, but again, that's the biggest thing is understand your core values and your belief system. Whether it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be. Chris, she said that's a tough one. It is.
It is.
I mean, people. I will do anything for my family. Give it to them one bullet at a time. I'm kidding. But are you? You know what I mean?
Right. If that's the first thing that pops in your head, that may not be wrong. And it may not be the wrong thing to do, depending on.
And I'm not judging. I mean, again, that's one of those things that you have to ask yourself. Understand your core beliefs.
The financial collapse deck is sold out on Conflicted the Game.
I imagine it's been sold out for a long time. By the way, if you guys want to go to Conflicted the Game, use our coupon code WHATIF.
Yeah. I guess they've got 8 decks.
Yeah, my wife said you could use the gun to harvest a deer. Absolutely, you can.
You could.
But in turn, do you have the knowledge to be able to process the deer? I'm sure hungry enough, you could find a way. But it is a tough one because they'll probably turn the gun on you and take the food back. Absolutely. So
that's entirely possible. You got to get a feel for people. You've got to learn how to read people. That's also something that's spiritual.
It is
it's
absolutely
not just up here. You've got to be able to feel people right here. So can I
Yep.
trust this person or can I not?
Yep. You got to listen to your
And
gut.
that is very spiritual. These gut feelings, that's not your gut telling you. That's your heart. That's your
Yep.
soul telling you these people are good, these people are bad. But you know what? I need to get some live traps because I could probably live on cats here in Caney.
Until they ran out. Because what if everybody else is trying to live off cats?
I'll just do better. Better bait.
I mean, yeah.
Cats, dogs, rats, I don't care. Squirrels, delicious.
Yeah, I'll
We got
I'll
raccoons,
debate
we
that.
got possums. I've eaten possum. Possum ain't bad. A lot better if you don't get it off the highway, but
Yeah, absolutely. Enzo said you saw that a lot on The Walking Dead. It's a matter of perspective, which groups are the bad guys.
it is.
Yep. My wife, Chinese food. What you like?
That's why I want to name the cat Szechuan.
There's plenty of cats for everybody. Yeah, and they breed pretty fast. So
They do actually. The town was destroyed by plague when everybody ate all the cats and the rats took over.
right, Pam, she said, yeah, in a situation like that, there's really no black and white. Pretty much everyone will be in gray. See, and that's where it's tough for me because I am a very black and white person. Enzo, General Chow's chicken or kitten.
Enzo, you were a genius. A genius, I tell you.
Oh,
My
here we go.
From another mother.
Just mugu meow pan.
Stock up on sesame oil because we're going to have us a cookout tonight.
Oh, we've got some heavy cast iron we can cook over a fire. So
Stock up on propane tanks. We're going to be grilling them suckers out.
a
Smoker out back too. We can have smoked cat.
Chris said, okay, so that's a no on me getting the kitten.
No, that's an important food source, honey. We need to.
Oh
I
man.
told her we could get another cat if I got to name it again. Yes,
That's funny.
it's Demonica because cats are evil. They deserve to be eaten.
Oh, the old face palm. But see, I mean, we're having fun, and that's great. I love having fun in the and especially in the chat. It's been a lot of fun. But that's the hardest part is yeah, it's understanding your values. Because I promise, most people believe pretty much the same way your parents did, without asking why. Personally, I'm not afraid of having my beliefs challenged. I'm not. Because I think in the long run, that will help me as a person.
You got to walk that mile in other people's shoes sometimes.
Right.
At least mentally.
You know, and then when you think about your core beliefs, how are you going to strengthen them?
Yeah.
I guess Pam says Stewie's all safe, all fluff, no substance.
Stewie's big enough he could take you on. Cat's getting big.
But yeah, I mean, challenge your own beliefs and try to understand why you believe that way. Do you believe that way because your parents taught you that belief? Did you learn that belief in church? And do you truly believe it? I mean, I'm not challenging anybody. I'm not poo-pooing anybody's beliefs. I'm not. I'll never do that. All I ask is for you to understand why you believe that way. I mean, personally, I believe the Bible is one of the best preparedness books out there. I absolutely believe that. But I'm not going to push it on other people. Especially mental or spiritual preparedness. And that's because I have my beliefs and I understand where they come from.
And the value of that, even if whether you are a Christian or not, there are a lot of really profound um, life lessons, basically,
Yeah.
in the book. Like I said, whether you
Uh,
believe, there are some good morals in there. I mean,
yeah.
and that's good.
Like,
So
for example, one thing that I've said a few times on the show, you hear especially the last couple of years, and I believe this is part of the root of the problem, is you hear these people, well, that's my truth. No. Truth is truth. There's no in between. And again, I'm coming from a black and white perspective. I've already said I'm a very black and white person. Truth is truth. And people have gotten away from that and are making up their own truths.
yeah, Bud Light found out about that.
Right. The challenge is trying to interact in a SHTF scenario is how to deal with people that don't have any of those beliefs and morals. Yes.
That's where your gut comes in.
Yep. Absolutely. That's a tough one. It really
You
is.
don't know if you're going to be talking with a bunch of cannibals.
Right. But see, and that there again, when I just thought of thinking about that, I'm like, okay, who am I dealing with? I'm doing it alone in my thoughts. I can't do it alone. How big of a target? I mean, safety in numbers. Your community, your group, or whatever you want to call it. You've got to have multiple sources of knowledge, of different knowledge. And I really believe that was part of the whole Mike Mall's idea of your 3-man militia, all that. To me, it's sound. It's a sound process because it's based off of the Marine Corps fire team.
It's practical
And it's very practical
and scalable.
Yep. And it will scale. I mean, I love the idea of, okay, let's say me, you, and we'll say Pam. We have a 3-man militia based around food. We reach out to our local Red Cross or reach out to our local sheriff's office. Hey, if we have a disaster, feel free to call us because we can prepare food for this many people. We're willing to volunteer our time. Or a group. It doesn't have to be that. I mean, it's just what Mike calls it. If you're interested in that, go check his YouTube out. He's down in Mexico now doing something.
The guy is amazing.
Yeah. And then let's say I form another group of gardening. Okay, me and my wife and we'll say my brother. Okay, so there's 6 people involved, maybe not directly, but they're involved. Okay, we're growing the food, this and that. Okay, let's say an instance comes up where we need to go feed somebody. Food supplies are short. Okay, well, we're growing it here. Let's take some of this and go feed these people. So it absolutely is scalable.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't have to be just one group doing one thing.
Right.
It can be like a community outreach group, and you just say, okay, well, this this is our survivalist club, and everybody's going to have an assignment that they're good at, and we're going to meet every month, and hopefully
Right.
we never have to do this, but we're going to be prepared.
Right.
Jim Bob's got an empty lot, and we're going to take all of our rototillers out, and we're going to make a community garden next week. And
Jess, you are. We just got to find the group.
she's actually going to be the president of all the groups because she is the
Right.
organizer deluxe. So no, she's not cool enough to be in the group. She's cool enough to run the group.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think that there, something in that instance, whether it be whatever it is, I mean, is perfect for a mental and spiritual preparedness situation. To understand, why you believe it. Obviously you're getting together with like-minded people. You don't have to believe everything 100% the other person believes.
No.
But it's a good foundation. You guys have a lot of similarities in common. Okay, you may not need it. We may not need to react to a disaster and go feed people, but we're already mentally prepared to, okay, we can feed 100 people. We've already got all this stuff prepped and ready to go. Not the food, but just the recipes or the pots, pans. We have all this stuff ready to go at a moment's notice.
How about it's not a huge disaster? Sammy down the street's house burnt down. We need to feed his family for a while so they get back on their feet.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be a huge disaster. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. It's a community. It saddens me. You don't really see the communities like we did when we were growing up. I could knock on any house, any door in Udall, and most people would know who I was, know who my parents were, would bring me into dinner.
Oh,
you don't see that anymore.
No.
It's just not done.
Oh, no, because it's a trust factor. People do not trust people anymore. And in some instances, you're within your rights.
And it's quite correct in a lot of situations. But community used to be a lot more important than it is. And I don't know. I'm just as guilty of it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just, we've grown away from that as a society. And I don't know.
Yep.
I'm disappointed in myself and everybody else.
Well, and Enzo, you said we're in Kansas. A tornado can erase a small town. The survivors need help immediately. Yes. And that's something I have to commend everybody, especially like Joplin. That's probably, Andover last year. All that. The community responded. They went and helped their neighbor. So it's there. It's absolutely there. We just don't see it.
Yeah. I was so proud of my daughter during Joplin. She gathered a truckload of stuff in like 3 days.
And that's awesome.
She was 12. So there are still good people out there.
And I really think most people are good people.
Yeah.
In general. But that's not what you see.
No, all the news wants to show you is the hate and the ugly. It makes you think that everything is hate and ugly. And that's part of what's tearing apart the communities.
Right.
Absolutely. Because that's all they see on TV.
Oh, well, we don't disagree on who makes the best president, or we don't agree on who's going to make the best president. I hate you.
Yeah, exactly. All you see on TV is hate, 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 hate. And it makes you think that that's all that there is out there in the world. And it's not.
Right. And like I said, I think the large majority of people are willing to help out somebody else,
Yeah. Some of the best
whether they
people I
know
know,
them
I
or not.
totally disagree with.
Now, okay, I'm going to throw one caveat out there. My wife, she said, I think it's instinctual for us to want to help other people or others and have a community. It is. I think it is. But the one caveat that I am not sure about is bigger cities. Again, with the examples that I've seen, I try to avoid big
Get the
cities.
mob mentality going.
Right. Enzo said, fortunately, a lot of people have realized that the quote unquote news has been telling them lies for a long time. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of
And
people are
Pam,
seeing it now.
and Pam, I do agree with you. If given the chance, most people want to help. You're right. I do. Most people I know are willing to step up and help. There's some that aren't. I mean, that's just the nature of humans.
Yeah.
But in general, I think you're right. My wife, just a shameless plug. It was a little bit back. I think I shared it, but she put up there. You should go check out the Night Acres community. Yeah,
I
but
happen to know those people, and they're just really swell.
yes, I absolutely, Pam, absolutely. Said I would not want to be in a bigger city in a disaster. Yeah, especially I seen some stats here the other day, like Oklahoma City and Tulsa are like in the top 20 most dangerous cities in the United States. It's not very far from us.
No, it really isn't.
Obviously Oklahoma City be a little bit farther, but Tulsa's not that far, like 80 miles, something like that.
75 from where I'm at.
Yeah. So that's something to think about.
We got a guy who drives up from there every day. So it's not that far.
Yes, Enzo, he said, I would like to think everyone would want to help out their neighbors, but there can come a scenario where you may not want to expose what you have when most have none. Oh yeah,
That's absolutely true as well.
100%. Unfortunately, I mean, I think that's the unfortunate thing about doing this was, people that listen to us and are aware of us, in our groups and things like that, or, well, hey man, those guys are talking about this stuff all the time. They might have something in that situation. I don't know. I mean, I would hope not, but I'm sure it would cross people's mind. Right.
Yeah.
And again,
like
that's where. Go ahead.
You never know what somebody's going to do to feed their family if they haven't eaten for a few days.
Right. Right. And personally, and especially within the last, 3-4 months, since we really kicked everything to high gear here at the house, there's always something that needs to be done. And I am willing to help anybody out as long as you're willing to put forth the effort. Will I defend what's mine? Yes, sir. 100%. But again, that's where you have to have your community involved. You have to, there's so much that we could touch on with that. About your community and security. Maybe we do a show on security sometime.
There you go. That's a good idea.
Your homestead or your bug out location security, things like that.
Show on barter.
Barter is a good one.
And remember, labor is a barterable commodity.
Absolutely, it is. I mean, there's nothing that I haven't done that anybody can't do. Hey, I mean, I need straw laid down for my crops, or animals fed, or whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna. If it comes down to it, I don't care about my yard being mowed. That's
Fix
a waste
the hole
of
in
a
my
resource,
roof.
Right? But yeah, there's just so much that could be traded. Hey, I've got this and this. this food that's stored and this food that's stored. What are you willing to do in return, or what are you willing to trade in return?
I'll give you 10
You know,
bottle or 10 jars of tomatoes if you'll come fix my generator.
right?
You
Or
know,
yeah, I need my garden weeded. If you see a ripe tomato, take it. Or something like that. You put forth the work. But there again, I'm sitting there playing devil's advocate in my head, because are people going to take advantage of that? Absolutely, they are.
that's how
Unless they're
people are.
basically right, unless they're watched all the time. I mean, how many people do you know that don't work unless the boss is coming? Or something like that. If the boss is out there watching them, they'll work their ass off. But as soon as he leaves, they disappear.
Yep.
I've known plenty of people like that.
Same here.
So it's a crapshoot. You don't know who you're going to deal with other than your close-knit community. Understand your values, your beliefs. Jess, I'll give you 3 cats if you fix my generator. You got to catch them too. I'm not getting scratched.
Tell you what, live trap's not hard to build.
Nope.
And neither are fish
sack
trap.
No, they're not.
In that kind of situation, I am totally not over throwing homemade dynamite into the river to get my fish.
Oh, no, sir. I'd do it in a heartbeat. But man, I don't have a lot more. I think we covered it pretty well. You have anything else to add?
So, I mean, it's just, I think tonight's episode basically is a lot of self-examination.
Yeah.
Mentally, spiritually, just to get in that headspace, as it were.
And if you think about it, that's probably the hardest thing of all.
99% of any problem is mental.
Yeah, it is.
Whether you can wrap your head around it or not.
Yep. And I would say put yourself in that situation now. Understand what you're doing now and why you believe that way. Know where you lie spiritually. Why you believe things the way you believe, and in your spirit, this stuff. Challenge your own beliefs to see if it's going to stand the test. If it doesn't stand the test, move on to something else. Now's the time to do all that stuff.
Because it could be too late soon.
Very soon.
Or nothing could happen. But
yeah, I mean,
what are they saying? Ideal.
June 2nd, it was a week and a half, something like that. When they're talking for the debt ceiling crisis. If anything happens out of it, which I'm not convinced it will, but there's always a possibility.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I'm good. And
I am as well.
All right, folks. Well, everybody, it was so much fun hanging out in the chat with you guys, and thanks for adding to the conversation, because you guys have brought up a lot of great points that I wasn't even thinking about. Again, that's what it's about. It's about hanging out and having a good dialogue and a good conversation and new ideas. And I love being challenged, and I hope we challenge your thoughts and at least plant seeds to make you think. With that being said, you guys, oh, yep, you're absolutely right, Enzo. He said, they'll come up with a solution for the debt ceiling at the 11th hour like they always do. Thank you, sir. We do appreciate it. But anyway, folks, we appreciate your participation. We appreciate you hanging out, and we look forward to the next show.
Yep. See you next Monday on the Fringe.
On the Fringe. All right. You guys take it easy.
All right. Good night.